Welcome to Married to Portuguese. On each episode, my English-Irish husband, Bob, and I discuss and laugh about our life and adventures in the Portuguese culture.
Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Bom dia, querido. Como é que estás?
Bom dia. Brought to you by Chico's Bail Bonds.
Oh my God, we're still sticking to Chico's bail bonds.
Yes.
No. We want like a sponsor, like, a gin and tonic kind of thing, because you're all about gin.
My mom's listening.
Or, some other food stuff or whatever, but not Chico's bail bonds. I mean, that's awful. No.
Fine. Then for no reason, just bom dia from the
Bom
bottom
dia.
of my heart.
Yes, we don't need to go into details here.
Maria's Portuguese Table,
Yes.
Season 2,
Yes.
Episode 6. Sao Jorge.
Sao Jorge. I love Sao Jorge.
It grew on me.
Oh, yeah.
It grew on me.
Well, tell everyone your story about Sao Jorge.
All right. So, Sao Jorge was... Oh, boy. So, we flew from Terceira to Sao Jorge.
Yep, we did.
And had not been to Sao Jorge. I had read plenty about it.
It is longer than it is wide.
Yes, it's longer than wide, and the unique topography threw me. The fact that, most of the island is like a mesa. It's like a cliff, and everybody lives down at sea level in a feijá of some type or other. So we land the island. The airport is on the Pico side of the island.
Mm-hmm.
So you see lovely Pico off to the distance.
Yeah.
And we get in. There's a whole story about us landing that I won't say right now, but you'll tell it. And we get our 9-passenger van finally, and we're going to drive it into, I just blanked the town that we stayed
Velas.
Into Velas.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're driving, now again, it's a 9-passenger standard transmission van, and I just didn't realize how steep everything is and narrow, quite frankly. Everything seems narrow when you're driving a 9-passenger van. It probably isn't that wide or that long. It just feels it.
Well,
and
it was this inclines like this.
It doesn't start.
Yes.
It doesn't start that way when you leave the airport.
No.
It doesn't start that way.
No.
And so as we're winding our way, and I'm trying to get used to this car, and we get to
shift, and
and then we get to the turnoff, and then you tell me how, or Dean was telling us how Derek from the Portuguese Kids hates this way into Velas because it is this. It's like you need the seatbelt to hold you into your seat so you don't slide forward.
Yep.
And it was just frightening.
Yeah.
So that is my initial memory. I couldn't tell you what we saw to either side of the car.
No.
I was only on the road. And then once we got down,
it was like, oh my God. And then it'd be, wow, what a beautiful view. Oh my God. So it was, because you're right. It's all of that, the incline, and you're right with things are further down, and it's
steep.
It's steep. Yeah.
Yeah, the punchline is like the last day we were there, we found a much easier way in and out, which only took you about half a mile out of the way.
It was like the easy way. It was like we didn't have to go that hard way.
That was pretty fun.
That was funny.
I just loved it. It was the third island I've been on.
Yeah.
And after, São Miguel and Terceira, Sao Jorge is certainly more, I don't want to say rural, less developed. It's a much smaller population.
Yep.
Everybody seems to know each other.
Everyone knows everyone on that island.
And which
is beautiful.
Which was just great.
Yeah.
I really loved the people. Gosh.
I wanted to take them home with
everybody. Everywhere has been great to us.
Yeah.
But
they were, I think, from all the islands we've been on, they were the friendliest.
Yeah, I think
the most open. They do not get as much tourism as all the other islands.
Although Fayal was pretty close.
Oh yeah, Fayal was
Fayal
early.
and Sao Jorge were
You're right. Fayal was also.
friendliest, but
Yeah.
I would say more so than the other islands. My take on Sao Jorge, it is the one island to me that you can't talk about Sao Jorge without talking about the geography,
The beauty of it.
the beauty of it. It's
All the waterfalls, So what happened is you've got these cliffs that you can't even, the cliffs go so low, and then there's deltas of land, and they're called faisanges. And so you've got people who live there and also, but they work up here. So they were constantly driving back and forth. It's very windy and up on top. So that is where the cows graze. And so we kept going from where we needed to be to a different faisan, to up again, to go to Tapo, to go to, like, we were everywhere. And the first day, like you said, it was like, oh my goodness. Oh, how are we going to drive? You were like, I don't know, Maria, I don't know if I can do this for, 3 days. I don't know if I can do this because this is just too much. I can't. I don't feel comfortable. This is a lot of people here. We fall. It's like, this whole thing.
some of these roads you're going down are one lane.
Yeah.
So if you come on somebody coming up and you're heading down, like somebody's got to back
up.
and make room. And, so we don't know the roads. They're narrow. They were wet because we caught rain a lot. It just, and I had a lot of people and equipment. It was.
Yeah. So that night, we called someone that we knew on the island and said, okay, we need a driver. Can we get a driver? Is this too late to be able to get a driver? And they said, nope. Paulo is the guy. You want him.
Our hero.
I love that man. And his wife was Paula. So Paula calls me and she's like, I'm calling for Paulo. And so it's Paula and Paulo. And she's like, no problem. We can do it. What time do you want him there? And, you'll have him for as long as you want him. And that man was just the sweetest man.
He was great. And the funny thing is, like, the island is small enough that, like, he would drive us to where we needed to be, and then he would leave us.
Yeah.
Because, it's X o'clock, planes are coming in. So he'd go to the airport so he could make some more money.
Pick people up, deliver more stuff, and then he'd come back to us. Yeah, which is fine, and which is great. But there were a couple of times where I'd say to the guys, okay, we did this today. Tomorrow it would be really nice if we could do, XYZ, or we need this. And he kind of just did it.
Yeah.
Just kind of did it.
He just did it. And it's the one island where GPS, Google Maps, Apple Maps just didn't help me because things aren't really mapped.
Yeah.
The roads don't work the way you think they do.
Yeah. Well, the one story that is not shared in the episode, and I will tell you here, is that even in the first season, I always wanted to do an episode on how to make the Holy Ghost soup, the soupage do Espírito Santo, because I get messages from people going, I remember going and having soupage. What is the soupage? And I'm like, well, was it for, this feast or whatever? Because everyone had their soupage. And a lot of people remember that. And it's a beautiful childhood memory. And they want to recreate it. So I wanted to do it on screen. And first season, couldn't get it. We tried doing it when we were out in California.
Mm-hmm.
But they did not make the soupish that time. They did something else. They did casola with beef. And it was like, no soupish this time. So, okay. So season 2. I'm like, we're going to be in Terceira. And so when we're in Terceira and there's all those imperios that are all because of the Holy Ghost festivals and stuff, I'm like, we are definitely doing it there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are going to do it there. And we'll find it. So when we got there, besides the person saying, no, we can't do it, we people were like, no, we just finished with all the festivals. Like, you missed it by like a week. We missed it by a week. I think that's what it was. And they're like, they're tired. They're not going to do it. I'm sorry. No, it's not going to happen. Okay. So we leave Terceira and we take a smaller plane to go from Terceira to Sao Jorge. And now Sao Jorge is part of the Triangle Islands. So it's Sao Jorge, Pico, and Faial. So like Bob said, when we land there, you cannot miss Pico. Pico is like incredible. And so I spent a little bit more time outside after people were walking in the tarmac. I kind of stayed in the tarmac to look at Pico because it was just, I'd never seen anything quite like it. I was in awe. So we come in. The guys are waiting for their cargo because it goes separately from luggage. And they're all waiting for the cargo. People are already getting their bags, the whole bit. Bob is already inside with the guys. And now I'm coming in. I'm like the last one to come in. And I get in there. I'm waiting. And then all of a sudden, someone approached you.
Mm-hmm. And they wanted to know, like, who are we? Obviously, we were a film crew.
Yeah.
And they wanted to know, like, who we were and what we were doing. So I said, oh, well, we're an American TV production. Maria's Portuguese Table, and that's my wife over there, Maria Lawton. She's Azorean green bean. I'm like, what? And like, we know who she is. Can I go talk to her? It's still like 6:30 in the morning, but sure. Go.
Anyone can talk to me.
Go right ahead. And so they went over to talk to you.
Yeah. And so she's like, hi, I'm a fan of yours. You're filming in Sao Jorge. Oh, my goodness. Are you here for the hiking festival they were having, or a hiking thing? Because it's a big thing in Sao Jorge because of all those mountains and cliffs and all that stuff. Hiking is outdoor nature. If you want to like get away from it all, that is the perfect island. And so I said, oh no, I'm not. I said, I'm here, and I go through the thing of what we're doing. And so she's like, oh, I would love to invite you and your crew to come to like the end of the hike that we're going to be doing with people. And then we're going to have a celebration, and the villagers in the Feijão de Vimas are going to be putting on a special event for us. And they're making a special soup. And she goes, Sopa de Espírito Santo. And of course, I'm like, I'm going to start crying thinking about it again. And I'm like, oh my goodness, yes, we'll be there. What day? And so she tells us the day, and don't you know it, it's the same day we were already going to be in that village. We were going to be at the coffee plantation. There's a coffee plantation there. It's the only coffee plantation in
commercial coffee plantation
in all of Europe. I mean, people grow, have coffee trees, bushes or whatever in their backyard, and they grow and roast their own coffee in the Azores. That's a very given thing. But they're the only ones that have a plantation of it. And it is like an incredible coffee.
We were there. We were already scheduled to be in Vimas for the coffee plantation. And then come to find out, we get the invitation to be there at the same day, roughly the same time.
Yeah.
For the Holy Ghost soup. It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
And the people we made the soup with were just...
Oh, my goodness. They were so lovely. They were so lovely. And the thing on that soup, it was, my dad's favorite. It was one of my dad's favorite. So, yeah.
So that was wonderful. And, there's more things that happen because Sao Jorge spills over into another episode.
We filmed so much.
But we just had a ball.
Yeah.
Going across the island. It was...
we made a splash.
That's right, we made a splash.
We went, of course, to the cheese factory. We had to see that. That in itself is... incredible.
The scale
The scale.
of the soup
Yeah.
that they make is just
The soup.
I'm sorry. The scale of the cheese
Yeah.
making production
Yeah.
and so clean, and
Oh, it's just,
that was really
that was really wonderful.
just
That was just
amazing.
really wonderful.
Well, again, it's so hilly. There should be more cows with broken legs.
Yeah, because they're standing on these like hills, and they're like standing
Right,
like perfect, you know.
hip problems.
And of course, someone else in one of the production people were like, "Oh, wow, those cows really stay up on that hill really well." And Dean, without even skipping a beat, goes, "Oh yeah, it's a special kind of breed of cows. They have like short legs on one side and longer on the other, so they can balance each other like on the." And they're like, "Wow, really?" And I'm in the front going, "No." He's teasing you. There's no such thing as a breed to stand on the mountains like that. So, yeah, he almost had them, but no, that's not the case. But Sao Jorge, like you said, was so beautiful. The people were amazing. Everything was fantastic. And the place, we filmed so much on that place that we just kept filming. It kept giving us so many.
Yeah. There was one point we were filming on a cliff looking down on, I think, Paulo's
Feijão, where he
Feijão.
lives. Yeah.
And so we were spotting the drone.
Yep.
Not because the drone was so high, but because the drone was so low. Dean was flying at like 500 feet below him
Yes.
over the Feijão, and it was still like hundreds of feet above the Feijão. It was just very odd
Yeah, it's
to be up that high.
and in the next episode, the next episode after this one is half Sao Jorge and half Pico. But we'll discuss that when we talk about that next. But it was a wonder, just a wonder, very spiritual place. To me, I found it very spiritual. You look at everything and you can't help but be in awe of nature.
I did a lot of praying driving up and down those roads.
Well, that's the first day. The first day, yes, we did a lot of praying on that day. But it was beautiful, and the people there were beautiful. They were just the sweetest.
More next time.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys, on to the next.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we'd love to hear your ideas for topics. Ciao.